Hey guys, this is Jon.
Hey guys, this is Austin.
And this is another episode of the Meatgistics Podcast. Well done. Well done. Austin and I are in competition to see who can start off first. And that is not how you would normally come in as the second person.
Yeah, I know. Because when we were testing mics, you jumped in early and were bragging about it. So I figured I'd just wait and let you go first. And then I would say the same
to throw me off
type of thing on the intro. Yeah.
Well, you did it. Congratulations. So this episode is the last one we're going to release before the Walton Steak Cookoff on August 14th. To celebrate, and because it was sitting there right in front of me at Sam's at a reasonable price, I cooked us a Tomahawk Rib Eye. Now, we've done a couple of things with this. I did a reverse sear, obviously, but I did that reverse sear on our Camp Chef Woodwind grill. I set it at 250 degrees, left it on there. It honestly got a little bit away from me. For anyone who can't see, I would say that's about 3 inches, 2.5 inches thick.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a decent.
At least 2.5 inches, maybe 3.
It's a decent size. And I seasoned it, left it uncovered, standing on its edge in the fridge overnight to let it dry out a little bit more so we could get a little bit nicer of a crust. And then when it was done with its regular cooking process for the reverse sear, I had both the side sear box on that unit already fired up at full temperature, and I also brought out our Camp Chef griddle. So half is done with the griddle top and half is done with the sear marks. Now, as I said, this one got away from me a little bit, so I didn't want to sear them that much longer and cook it any higher than it already was. But as you can see, it's got a really nice appearance on the griddle side. Flip it over.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty nice on that side.
Still looks good, yeah.
I can't get away from sear marks. Like in my mind, I know that there's way more contact points on this. So technically we're getting more of that Maillard effect. We're getting more caramelization. But I really kind of need the sear marks.
Really? I almost avoid the sear marks. Like, I don't want them when I cook a steak. Like,
what?
I know that goes against, like, everything that is, like...
we hold dear?
Like, everything a part of the SCA competition. Like, that's one of the judging points is the sear marks and stuff. And that's what everybody sees as typical coming off of a grill. But I don't know. I don't want to cook it that high. I don't want it to get that crispy on the edge. I mean, I want it to have some sort of crisp to the exterior, but I'd rather my steak be tender. And
well, that's the advantage of a reverse sear is you can still get that really nice tenderness and that nice crispy crust, which is, in my opinion, necessary for a steak.
You can get a crispy crust without turning it black, though. I mean, all the markings. However, if you just do lines, if you do a crosshatch or whatever you're going for there, I mean, it's all just a black charred little bit to it.
No, that's part of it. I'm really disappointed in you here. I feel like I've been sitting next to someone I don't even know. This is ridiculous.
Is that your piece and this is my piece?
So this is my beautiful Meatgistics 8-inch chef's knife that I have used the brand new, for me at least, Norton 200 sharpening stone on. And oh my God, after you left, I was cutting through paper and you can't even imagine, Austin. It was just like all the way straight down through the piece.
So do you like the sharpening stones better than like the True Hone?
I think I do.
Really?
I really do. I mean, I know that's a ridiculous statement coming from somebody who's spent so much time talking about the True Hone. True Hone's great because it's like easy, anyone can do it, but there's something more satisfying about doing it yourself on those sharpening stones, having control over everything. And I know that the only thing you need to do to change the angle on the True Hone is just turn a couple knobs. But then you have to know where it was before with the True Hone or with your sharpening stones. It literally is as simple as, no, I want it to be that. instead of this. The reason I went and got the IM 200 as opposed to that little 6-inch things I had is because it was getting really hard to try to do like larger knives.
Yeah.
That 10-inch one we had, there was no way I could have gotten that done on the 6-inch. So,
yeah.
But yeah, all right. Let's dig in, and then we'll talk about a little bit about Cowboy Rib Eyes. And I mean, look at that. You can't beat that. Reverse sear is just the perfect cook. Sorry. A reverse sear is the perfect cook.
It does make it look really nice.
I got you a fork, but you said you didn't need one, so.
Yeah, it's good.
The cap of a ribeye. I don't know. That's the spinalis dorsi. I don't know that there is a muscle, a cut, anything that I like more than that.
Yeah, it's good. My only complaint is it doesn't look like you seasoned the edges. It looks like you seasoned the top and bottom, but did you season the edges?
You can't have any more of this. We'll hear no complaints. For those of you who are just listening, I'm now cutting off all the cap and eating it quickly before Austin can get any.
No big deal.
He's getting a small piece of the cap, but not as good.
I'm just going to go straight for the center.
Okay, go ahead. Get that out of here, fly.
It's all about the nucleus. Not necessarily, but in some food it is.
So I was doing a little bit of research on Cowboy Rib Eyes. It's also called a tomahawk. Anyone who's seen one of these, it's obvious why it's called a tomahawk. It's got a big long bone coming off of it that if you hold up the meat by its bone, it looks like a tomahawk. So obviously that one's easy. But why do we call it a cowboy ribeye? So there are a couple different opinions on why it's called a cowboy ribeye. One of them is that the cowboys used to use the bone as a handle as they ate it. I don't think I buy that one. I think the one that's far more likely is that when you look at this cooked, finished, just big, manly chunk of beef, I mean, what did we, especially back in like the 60s and 70s, really associate manliness with? Cowboys, right? Mm-hmm. So I would say, well, I mean, we could ask a real life cowboy. We know one. We've had him on the podcast before. We could see what he thinks about why it's called that.
I don't know.
Your brother-in-law, Jon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I could ask him, but I have no idea.
I think, though, it is basically just that it is a awesome manly cut of meat.
I don't know. That makes sense to me, but either way, like, to be honest, like, I don't really care what it's called.
Fair enough.
I just want to eat it.
Fair enough, yep. Now, without the bone, it would be called a Scotch fillet. And again, the cap is I think I got it right before, spinalis dorsi. If I didn't, I apologize. Now, a ribeye has more vitamins and nutrients than other cuts of steak, surprisingly. However, with that increased vitamin, specifically A, you're also getting more calories from the fact that it has more fat. So I think that is why I like a ribeye more than I like any other steak. Because you and I have talked about this in the past. I do not care. A corn-fed beef, it tastes better than a grass-fed one to me.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm not somebody who's like, oh no, that's weird. Because in like snack sticks and sausage, I am very much like, no, let the meat stand out. But on this, I'm like, no, fatty fat. Mm-hmm. That's what I want. I just hit that with my fork and it splattered all over the place.
Nice.
Probably all over my laptop. So if I'm licking the keyboard on my laptop later, it's not weird. There's a perfectly normal reason. Patrick, do you want to come from behind camera and snag a piece of this? Okay.
So one of the things I love the most about like steak, ribeyes, whatever, is a quote from, I'm going to get it wrong. One of you guys will probably know. I want to say it was Jim Harbaugh. Is that the coach of Michigan?
Now, currently, yes.
Okay. He said something about, he was talking to some reporter and they were talking about what you eat and what you do for nutrition. And he's like, eat a steak a day. That's all you need. You get all the nutrition you need from eating that. And I love that. One, it's related to meat and helps our industry.
Sure.
But two, gives, I think, a lot of people a good direction. I'm like, yeah, if you want to eat healthy, eat like just solid, good protein and meat. If you want some veggies, throw in a salad, but you eat some more natural stuff like that. I mean, it's
whole foods.
It's good for you.
It is. My wife and I were talking about this recently. Over the last 3 or 4 days, we've both been like cleaning up our diet, making sure we're going back to like not picking up things from the grocery store that are already pre-made, going back to just like making stuff ourselves and concentrating on it being like a steak, a chicken breast, a salad that we make. And within 3 days, we're both like, both woke up yesterday. We're like, I feel so much better than I have in a long time. Nutrition, it is amazing. The old adage, you are what you eat, is so true. And I do way better when I keep that in mind. The only problem is it's hard in today's like fast-paced world. It's really hard to avoid when I stop and get, an energy drink or something, not to also pick up a piece of pizza from the gas station. Because in Kansas, every gas station makes pizza as well for God knows what reason, but that's what they do. And it's at least decent.
Yeah, they all make pretty good pizza.
Quick Trip's not as good as Casey's, but it's
still good. They have a special going on right now. Extra large pizza, $6.99.
Meatgistics Podcast brought to you by Quick Trip. Actually, I don't even know if we can joke around about that.
Not a sponsor, but we wish they were a sponsor.
Do we?
I do. I love like going. Let's get off the Whole Foods thing. Let's talk about processed foods. I love Quick Trip taquitos. Oh my goodness!
Anything on their little roller things.
Yeah, all roller grill items are so good.
The buffalo chicken something one.
Is that has like high temp cheese in it too.
Does it?
Yeah.
I haven't had one in probably a year, and I need to continue that streak.
I had one of those like 2 or 3 days ago. I want to say it was Monday.
Okay.
So
here's a weird like insight into my brain. That's when I know I'm in trouble. Is if I leave the gas station with one of those, I'm like, I need to dial this back in. Because in my normal diet, that wouldn't even like present itself as an option. But okay. So did that fun thing to do. Obviously, it's a huge manly thing. And obviously, if you don't think I'm going to try and cut this with the obliterator, you don't know who I am. So we will do that towards the end of the podcast. You look doubtful. You don't think it's going to go through.
I was talking with somebody recently who I don't remember who it was, but it was somebody while we were at AMP.
Okay.
I think it was somebody during the pet food class. And I want to say that they said that the bone will be more likely to splinter after it's cooked.
Yeah.
So
we might not get get through it. It just break it.
I just picture you trying to cut that with the obliterator and literally sending bone splinters everywhere.
Awesome.
So I'm going to hide behind, we're going to open up the shade over there so I can stand behind glass.
Patrick, Bone Splinter should be the new name of your band. It's a great one. Yeah, so that's fine. If you want to go hide, you are a father of, do we say 1.5? What do we say at this point?
It's 2.
It's 2.
It depends on who you are. I mean, some people say it's not a kid until it's born. I say it's a kid as soon as you've made the kid.
Do you know yet, boy or girl?
No, I'm hoping to find out soon.
It's written down somewhere.
Yeah, we have an envelope with a sonogram picture and the gender written on it, and we'll see. My wife, I think, is on board. I think she's actually excited for it. We were going to do it actually this weekend.
Okay.
And then some things fell through, and we won't be able to do exactly what we were planning on. Was going to do like a little mini date night, which I then turned into like a date morning, but then that screwed up. So I don't know. We'll see. I'm still hoping to maybe talk her into just opening it up and finding out this weekend. But
what would your reaction be if you opened that envelope and in it, instead of that, was a note saying, "I know you have to ask me, Jon." So if I found your envelope, took the picture, knew, and replaced it with that note, would it be a good reaction or would I be in trouble?
Oh, you would be in trouble.
Oh, I got to go replace that with the sonogram picture then.
Yeah. That was not where I thought you were going with it, but something along those lines.
Yeah.
But I would probably do things to someone that I couldn't talk about on a podcast here, and I probably should stop. Otherwise, someone will.
So,
yeah.
What were you thinking? I was going to say twins. No, they would have had to have told you if it was twins, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
And we're always kind of worried about that because twins runs in Jenny's family. So we know we're not
two
having
for the price of one.
No, I thought you were going to say something about like whoever the tech was that took the pictures, wrote on it. Like you can't decide if it's a boy or a girl. You have to let them or do something like that. And I was, that's what like immediately goes into my mind coming from Jon and Mr. Crazy and conspiracy theorist. And
I'm the one drawing us back here twice now.
Yeah.
Okay. So we are having the Walton Steak Cookoff on the 14th. That will be next Saturday from when this is released. It's going to be at Walton's Wichita location, which is 3639 North Comatera. It's on the east side of Wichita. Anyone who's in the Kansas area or even Missouri wants to come on down. It's going to be a great day. We're going to have 75 teams all vying for top place. Top place is what's the cash prize this year? It's significant.
Total cash prize is $10,000. The winner, I want to say it's actually a double. So there's two steaks being cooked. Okay. Whoever wins, you win one, you get the top prize. You win the other, you get top prize. I think the top prize is $2,000. Okay. So if you won both, you'd walk out with $4,000.
Okay. So here's an interesting idea. Why don't we have me compete as Waltons, where you guys pay my entry fee, and then I just take the prize if I win. It'd be fun to see how they compare against me.
No, that'd be a PR and a brand disaster when we come in last.
Dead last, because I don't know what they're looking for.
The thing is, like this, I know we've talked about it before, but things that you do for competition
we're going to talk about that
are not always what you want to do for actual eating. Mm-hmm. Like, in my mind, just because you have those sear marks and lines or a crosshatch, whatever, like that doesn't make it a good steak. You can have just as good of a steak without it.
Yes, but presentation does matter.
True. It can. Like if I'm going out to a restaurant, mm-hmm. I expect that they take the time to do that to a steak. Like if I got a steak out that didn't have like the perfectly aligned grill marks, I'd be upset because that's why I'm paying more for a steak out at a restaurant is for them to be meticulous about it. Because I know that they're probably going to screw up everything else. Because I think I can cook a better steak than they can very easily. So I don't know. It does have something to do with it, but if I'm just cooking steak at home for me and my wife, which she actually told me earlier, she's like, "You're cooking steak for dinner tonight." I'm like, "Okay, I guess I'm eating a lot of steak today." But if I'm cooking it at home, I mean, I don't necessarily care about the presentation. I just care about how it's going to taste.
That's interesting. I definitely care about the presentation, even when it's just for me. That might be, though, because I'm thinking in my head, I need to take a picture and post it to what did everyone cook today.
I have really good intentions when I grill at home, and I almost always take pictures as I'm starting. And then when I get to eat, I forget. And by the time I'm done and I'm like doing bath with my son, like I'm like, screw it.
So that kale and chicken or kale and pheasant cream sauce thing that John Whipfley did, I did that with chicken Sunday. And looked all nice. I even plated it really nice for my wife. And then I did hers, did mine, and got halfway done with my chicken breast before I was like, didn't take a single picture. So quickly snapped the picture and posted it to Meatgistics, but it wasn't as dramatic as it should have been. I have started something where I'm going to take some of my favorite pictures from what did everyone cook today, post that and a link to that post on social media. Try and throw more people at that post.
That's a good, yeah.
It's got over like 5,000 views, ridiculous number of posts. I mean, it's a significant traffic goer.
Someday we might have to reach out to the company that developed the back end of our site and see if they have if they know if there's a limitation on like how many replies can be on one topic before it runs into like a performance issue. because if there's going to be a post
that would be it.
Does that, it's going to be that one.
I will 100% when it gets close to that, if there is one, I will 100% start the what did everyone cook today twice, so I get all the credit for no. I'm just kidding. We'll obviously make sure that Tex gets that. All right. So Austin alluded to it earlier. There is a potentially big difference between what you're looking for in a competition cook and what you're looking for from a home cook. Okay. When you're doing a competition, the judge is having one bite of it. Like that's basically it. You're putting a section of it in this box. They're going to eat that and judge it based on that. When you're cooking at home, you want the entire thing to be presentable to a certain standpoint, but really tasty. So with that in mind, let's go over some of the rules for SCA. We've got, well, first, what is SCA? They're the Steak Cookoff Association. And before we go any further, this I thought was definitely worth noting. Both of their current champions are two women. The international and the American are both women.
That breaks the stereotypical view that the man is the one that's grilling. So yeah, that's awesome. That's cool to see that, and that there's women that are engaged and doing really well in that. That's really cool.
All right. So the SCA is a group that puts on steak cooking competitions all over the world, though they are based out of, huge surprise here, Texas. Who would have guessed? It's always the Texans. Mm-hmm. So here are the rules. Any fire or heat source may be used. So there's no limitation. Doesn't have to be wood, doesn't have to be charcoal. Could be propane, could be pellets, could be those lamp things that are ridiculously hot, like scorching hot. One register per competition, so you can't enter like a bunch of different booths so that you cook a bunch of steaks and up your odds. You have to use the steak that's provided on that day. Now, we are providing that steak to all of the contestants, and we're buying 2 steaks for each person, each team. Yeah. And I think are we not doing the extra? I heard there was some problem with getting enough steaks.
Well, yeah, there is a problem. We're not getting as many steaks as we wanted. We will still have enough steaks that for 75 teams, we have to have a total of 320 steaks.
Okay.
Only 300 of those are going to be cooked. We're going to have another probably 300 steaks just to cook.
We're going to have an additional 300.
Something like that. I don't know what the final number is going to be. I'd have to ask Colton, but
what does that cost?
It's a lot. Oh, we're spending like $8,000 on steaks. It's ridiculous. But the cool thing, so for anybody that is interested in coming, you have to check out the PK booth. PK grills are big in the SCA, but PK is going to be here doing some grilling demonstrations, and rumor has it that they're doing some sort of like one-on-one cook-off. So you get 2 people to go over there, and they'll walk you through cooking a steak, doing it all, and you and your buddy can cook up a steak and then see who wins.
Awesome.
So I don't know exactly how that's going to work.
That's really cool.
But however it does is going to be really freaking cool.
And no, that is not the PK, like the PK 100 that we always talk about. This is a separate company. They're all either die or cast aluminum. Mm-hmm. There are no hinges on it. It's pretty slick how that works. So nothing ever rusts out on it. These things outlast the person who bought it and their kids and kids' kids. They basically don't die.
And they are inexpensive. I definitely say inexpensive, not cheap. They're very well made.
Yes.
But they are inexpensive. Like a lot of times you find I don't know, go to like the ceramic world, anything that's more charcoal, you can get some really expensive grills, even gas grills. But you can pick up a PK grill for a few $100. You're not going to pay $1,000 like you would for something else. You don't have a lot of the tech in it like you would a fancy pellet grill or something. But for what it is, like it's really well priced.
But you don't need any. It's got 4 vents, 2 on the top, 2 on the bottom. So it's easy to do direct, indirect. It's easy to stabilize the heat. It's a slick piece of equipment for what it is. Okay. So the last one we said was must use the steaks provided on that day. Steaks can be trimmed before, but not after. Now, that is a big one as far as where things are going to change when you're doing it at home and when you're doing it in a competition, because almost all of those guys are going to trim their steaks till they're like a perfect, like round shape.
Yep.
Nobody at home is doing that. And if you are, stop immediately unless you're doing it to train for these competitions. Because if you don't want to eat the fat, that's fine. Leave it on there. It will add flavor to the rest of the meat. Do not trim the fat off. I remember I was in Rochester, New York. I was working for Kodak and somebody was having a backyard grill who I worked with. I went over there and he's cutting all the fat off his steak. I'm like, what are you doing?
That's horrible.
He's like, well, it doesn't, I don't eat it and it makes a mess. I'm like, I don't care if it makes a mess. It adds flavor to your steak. Like, leave them on. You'll like them much better. And that was when I knew nothing about meat processing or anything like that. Turn in one steak, whole and uncut, on top of the provided foil disc. The provided foil disc must be placed in the box, silver side up, and not folded in any way. The steak will be judged as presented in the box. That is, I copied and pasted that from their website because I didn't want to get anything wrong. People were getting DQ'd last year because of that. Because they had either folded that silver. I think one had one where it was down. The silver side was down. And I think one person just didn't include it at all, if I remember correctly, 2 years ago.
Yeah.
2 years ago.
That's one of the silly things about cooking competitions, right, is people not taking the time to just read and make sure they follow the rules, because we even saw that when we were at AMP a few weeks ago. Like, some people got DQ'd that really made a good product. It's just they, like, one would be like hot links. They didn't. One of the rules is you have to use a red casing. You can't use a smoke. You can't use a clear. Nope. You have to use a red. And people, they could make the best hot link out there, but if they didn't use a red casing, they immediately are or DQ'd.
Didn't matter. Yeah, just pay attention to the rules. It's really not that hard. I'm very annoyed right now because there's a fly going around here, and we have that amazing tool. No, that's not the fly.
I thought something landed right there.
Nope.
I don't know.
We have this awesome tool. It's the bug zapper tool from Mr. Barbecue. And I took it home because I have an insane dog and I have to crack the door open to my garage and flies come in. So I run around the house with just zip, zip. It's amazing. It's the most fun. I don't know if I told you this. I think I did. I took it down to the pond the other day because I've been getting killed by mosquitoes. And I ended up spending more time killing mosquitoes than I did fishing. It's just so satisfying to go. So you hold buttons on either side of it and you swing it. And every time it gets one, you hear it. And just to hear it. Oh, I loved it.
I got to remember to take one of those home tonight.
It's awesome. Okay. Sorry. Back to steaks. No sauce or garnish is allowed in the steak turn-in box. A compound butter is allowed as long as it's melted on the steak. So compound butters are kind of an interesting thing. I've stopped using butter so much. I don't necessarily care for the buttery flavor it imparts. That is one where, like, I'd rather taste the meat than the butter. I've tried some of the like compound butter ones, like thinking maybe I'm just missing out by using unsalted butter. But no, I just don't like them. Haven't done anything with them.
I've never got into that. I know I've tried it a few times because I saw so many people doing some sort of butter on their steak. And so a few years ago, I tried a different way or two, and I just wasn't a fan. But the one thing I'm hooked on now, which would definitely get me DQ'd, but I don't care, feta, blue cheese, any type of cheese kind of that texture.
Okay.
Putting that on top of
like
steak.
Crumble on top.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, some sort of cheese that's crumbly.
But at the end, not during the cooking process.
Like the last 2, 3, 4 minutes.
Oh,
so the cheese does actually get.
Oh, okay.
That type of cheese doesn't really melt. It just gets schmelty.
Schmelts.
That's what I describe it as.
Yeah, I hate feta cheese with a passion, and I don't like blue cheese either. So I would do neither of those things. But
it's horrible.
What are you gonna do? Placement of the steak and inspection for foreign objects is the team's duties. The boxes will not be opened at the turn-in table. So once you close it, whatever's in there is in there. No size standard for the seasoning or the steak. Natural juices pooling in the presentation box is allowed. So here are what they're actually judging on. Steaks are judged on the following categories: appearance, doneness, with medium being I would call this way more medium than medium rare.
Oh yeah, that's definitely medium. That's not medium rare.
I like a steak a little less done than this. I mean, it's still got a really nice pinkness to it, which you can still get on a medium, but I like a little bit more blood than what this has.
This is like perfect for me. That's where I shoot to cook all my steaks.
5 degrees, 3 to 5 degrees less than this, and I would have been perfectly happy with it. But I was trying to do other things, and it just got away from me. So appearance, doneness, taste, texture, and overall impression. Now, here's the interesting thing.
I like how that one is just like totally subjective.
Totally subjective. Like, I really liked how cute the girl was who gave it to me or whatever. Or the guy, just ridiculous.
You thought there was a cute guy?
Hey, here's the really ridiculous part. The tiebreakers are the exact same list. It makes literally no sense. The tiebreakers are the exact same list.
I don't know because I haven't been through a judging class, but my first thought there would be that they would go back to the steaks and like re-rate them again, kind of compared to each other. Because it would make a difference if you have two side by side. If you rated, we're going to have 75 teams turn in a steak. You rate 75 steaks and then you have two tied for the winner. You come back and you rate those again and like can go through everything. Guaranteed one of them is going to come out over the other.
Okay.
Like if
so it's compared back against each other instead of the field.
Yeah, because I do think it would make a big difference if you're the first steak turned in, the middle steak, or the end steak.
How do you not just get full? Like the first steak you have, you're like, oh my God, that's so good. Second steak, you're like, that's so good. By the fifth, you're like, you're just taking a very small slice.
They will have like a team of judges. It's not like one person.
So every judge might not taste every...
I don't know that every judge will taste every steak.
Wow.
I think they do it in like, I don't know. I thought I heard something from somebody like this last week about 2 teams of 3 something, but I might be wrong. I probably need to attend a judging class, which we are actually having one this Saturday, after this podcast is out, it's this Saturday. So August 14th, before the Steak Cookoff.
Isn't the Steak Cookoff on Saturday?
Yes, but the steak
Friday then. It's Friday night.
Oh, was it Friday night?
I'm pretty sure.
I thought it was just Saturday morning.
I posted something on Meatgistics on it. On social media. So go to our go to our Instagram and Facebook pages. It's on there.
Okay. Either way, come check out the judging class. Do that, especially if you want to try cooking at an SDA event. Come take the judging class.
Huge advantage.
That's the way to know how you're going to score well. You know exactly what the judges are looking for, what they're supposed to. So I should probably do that. I won't have time with everything else I'll be doing involved here, but
obviously not.
We do have
August 13th. It's the day before.
So it's the day before. So August 13th, come check out the class. There's only right now there's 3 spots left out of like
to be judges
out of 15 or 20.
Yeah.
So
and if you sign up now, you're guaranteed a spot to be a judge.
No.
Oh, that's what Colton said. He says you're guaranteed.
Okay.
He used that word.
I don't know. My understanding was the judges for the event are full. We just have spots left for the class. We might have to clarify with Colton.
Oh, yeah, we better.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's a great way to get a leg up on the people. Like if you want to join next year or another competition, finding exactly what they're looking for. And you have to be a member to enter anyways. So you have to be a member to judge. So you're going to end up paying that anyways. All right. So that's going to be an awesome event. Super excited for it. We're also going to have BHA there. We're going to have Passing On Outdoor Mentors there. Range 54, Diamond Archery, who is the Wichita Brewing Company.
Yeah.
The Flying Stove, Underdog. Both of those are food trucks. We're going to have Shaken or Stirred bartending. I'm missing a big one.
Pheasants Forever and Ducks Unlimited.
Ducks Unlimited. I'm missing 2 big ones. Missed them last time too.
Did you say Bash Brothers and Noble Salts?
I did not say either one of those.
And then some guy named Harrison Steele. I hope I'm. I don't follow music like I used to, but he's a musician guy. He's going to be doing a performance. Colton's super excited about it. I love music, so I'm hyped for it, but I feel bad because I don't follow anything, so I don't know who he is.
I'm going to have to bring earplugs. I hate live music with a passion.
Oh, he'll be inside.
Where's he going to be doing it?
Yeah, I don't know. Colton's got it all figured out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That should be interesting. All right. Anything else you want to talk about on the Steak Cookoff? Come on down. We spent a lot of money. All of the proceeds are going to Wichita Air Capital Flyers.
Yeah. So throw that out real fast. It is $10 to get in, but that entire $10 ticket goes right back to the Special Olympics Air Capital Flyers team. So it's all for a good cause. Everything else that is going into the event, all of the money that it takes to run it, we are just doing. And the whole point is to just get a couple thousand people out here to buy a $10 ticket to be able to write a big check basically over to Air Capital Flyers. So even if you don't really think you're interested at all, you should still come down just so you can buy a ticket and donate $10 to the Air Capital Flyers.
Absolutely. It's a great cause. All right. On to Meat Matters. Now, these first two stories are fairly closely tied together. The first one is California pig rules could cause bacon to disappear. Now, did you go look this up after I told you about it? Or no, I was talking to your father about this.
I didn't talk to you or my dad about it.
I was talking to your dad about this. No, didn't mute.
Rookie mistake.
Yeah, brings it back. No, I did it too. Oh, no.
Two rookie mistakes up here. We both have sound on our laptops.
Absolutely failure. Terrible. So they're obviously restaurant owners, diner owners are really upset about this because bacon is certainly a diner's one of their top selling and top money making items for it. I mean, it's pretty much bacon and eggs are the two things that are the cheapest to bring in that they can charge a decent amount for. This is, I think I have the note in my other one. It is California Prop 18, something like that. California Prop 16. It's something like that. Sorry, I thought I had it. It is in somewhere in the next one.
The only thing in the news story says something about Prop 12, but that's 12? Something else.
It's passed. A number, and it's in the teens. So there you go.
Basically,
take that and do with it what you will.
It really doesn't matter if it came from California and it's Prop anything. It's probably bad. Sorry, I know it's supposed to keep us away.
Yeah. 70-30 rule. But no, at the beginning of next year, California will begin enforcing an animal welfare proposition approved overwhelmingly by voters in 2018 that requires more space for breeding pigs, egg-laying chickens, and veal calves. Full stop right there. I'm sorry. I agree with the veal calves one. I'm just from talking about it a bunch over the podcast and live streams over the last 3 months. I was going to make some Weisswurst, and that's veal. I was looking to get veal, and I don't think I'm gonna now. Like, I think that's one I can get behind.
Really?
I really do. And my objection to it is not an age thing. It is with a veal, and maybe it's better now. Maybe I need to do more research before I start talking about this. But it used to be they would make sure that animal moved as little as possible so that its muscles would be soft and tender. Maybe it's changed. So I will reel that back in a little bit. I'll do some more looking into, like, has it changed? Have they not made it that? I don't know. There's just something that feels wrong about it to me.
I don't know.
If it is what I'm thinking in my mind, which usually it's not. You know, we'd probably get some veal farmer in here and he's like, no, my calves walk around all the time. Held in a little box.
I don't have an issue with it as long as you're not torturing an animal. My definition of torture. Some other people would say just having them in a pen would be torture. But what I think a normal human being's response and evaluation of what torture is, as long as you're not torturing an animal, I'm fine with it. I think animals are put here for us to eat. But if you do something that is technically or really bad for the animal, it's going to make the meat taste bad anyways. So taking care of the animal is in your best interest because it's going to make it taste better.
To a degree. I mean, during the slaughter process, if you do something that's really going to upset the animal, you're going to hurt the quality of the meat. But, I mean, I can probably cite a bunch of studies that say grass-fed is the cow's natural. That's why it has 2 stomachs and throws up and chews its cud. It wants to eat grass. So you could say feeding it grain and corn is harmful to it. But
you're not hurting it though.
Aren't you?
No, you're not hurting it.
Okay. But national veal and egg producers are optimistic they can meet the new standards, but only 4% of hog operations now comply with the new rules. So all hog farmers getting out of California, if this does actually go into effect, that will make it much harder for California, any California restaurant, diner, anything like that, to provide their customers with bacon and whatever.
I don't know. I don't know if I should think this or not, but my first response to some of this is just this is great because the price I'm going to pay for pork and bacon is going to go down because there's going to be more supply. And when supply goes up and demand,
elaborate on that. Explain why you think it'll increase the supply.
Because if you cut out all the demand that's out there for California, which they said is 15% of pork consumption in the U.S., and you still have all these hog farmers with hogs that need slaughtered, you're going to have a huge amount of supply and 15% less demand. So it's going to make prices go down because they're going to have to compete, and buyers are not going to have to, they're not going to have to, they're going to negotiate prices down because they're going to be able to pay whatever they want, because if they don't get it from farmer A, farmer B has it for 10% less.
Okay, I think you're, and I might be wrong here. I don't think this is going to stop bacon from getting into California. I just think it's going to stop them from being able to raise these pigs in California. That's my understanding of it. So I see it the opposite way. I see is they're going to try and suck all the bacon in from the rest of the area, the rest of the country.
It's not about just raising the animal. It talks about non-compliant meat. Non-compliant meat can't be sold in the state.
Okay.
So they would not be able to get pork at all.
Okay. Well,
no pork could be transported in unless it fit those guidelines, which is going to get ridiculous because then you already have so much regulation. You have state regulators, you have USDA, and then some people have to deal with a couple other things, maybe FDA in certain scenarios. But if you're under USDA inspection, do you also have to abide by California's rules?
I would imagine.
I do see this ending up in the courts because it deals with interstate commerce, and technically, I don't know, a state can't do that, but other things that you've seen, they're starting to let states do more stuff like that. They can collect sales tax from different people, and that's interstate commerce. So I don't know. I see it going through the court system. Who knows what will happen with it? I don't know that I really care one way or another. It's one of those things where I'm like, well, it's California. Sorry, guys.
Yeah.
You guys have to deal with it, not me.
Yeah, but I mean, things spread. That's one thing. I mean, something takes hold in one part of the country, it can spread to others. Not saying it will, but the next story is basically the same thing as going on in Massachusetts. They're getting ready to roll out these very similar rules in Massachusetts. The North American Meat Institute, which I swear to you, I didn't even know was a thing until I read this article, is trying to push back on that. They're saying that though these laws were approved in either 2016 or 2018, I read 2 different dates, they have not been finalized yet. So livestock producers can't make the changes because they don't know what the final rules are going to say. And basically, Massachusetts is wanting to say, okay, we finalized the rules on this date. Everything has to be from right here, right now. And the North American Meat Institute is saying, no, you can't do that. You have to finalize your rules and then give these guys time to, to make their adjustments. When I first read it, I was like, 2016 or like even 2018, that's more than enough time to comply. And then I read that they don't know what the final rules are. And I'm like, oh, that's typical. They don't even know what the rules are. But yeah, so obviously some changes coming to the industry, and in at least certain states. It'll be interesting to see what happens with that. The FSIS, which is the Food Safety Inspection Services, is expanding their mask requirements to any plant where they have somebody stationed. So they're telling the plant owner, if you have one of our guys in there, all your people have to wear masks. That seems like a ridiculous overreach in my mind.
I would like to see how that's going to be enforced, because at the big plants, fine, they'll do it. They'll just fall in line. Some of the mid-sized guys will see the small guys out there. There's some small guys out there that really don't care, really already don't like their inspectors. And when they come in, I've heard some horror stories that I won't even repeat on air, because I've heard of some people doing some really bad, crazy stuff,
or threatening to do some really bad, crazy stuff.
But it goes both ways. Sometimes it's on the inspector, sometimes it's on the whoever's running the plant. But if you have someone come in and tell the plant owner that, there's going to be some heavy backlash out there.
Agreed.
I don't know. My opinion, the two of them should probably just work it out. Like, why does there have to be an overarching order that says you will do this?
So I think
maybe the inspector doesn't even care.
It'll probably be a power trip thing. Like, you'll have some inspectors who'll probably be like, if you guys don't want to wear your masks, don't worry about it. And you'll probably have some that walk in and go, put it on. Yeah. So, I mean, what are you going to do about it? But yeah, that should be an interesting time to be in a small plant. Be interesting to be, well, not a fly. You don't want any flies in there. Be an interesting time to, something else. Be a something on the wall. I don't know what that is. But here is some really bad news. We've talked for about a year now, pretty much since the podcast began, about something called African swine flu. And this is a problem that's been going on in China, most of it, or a large portion of Asia. And it is bad. It has stayed over in that area. It is now in the Dominican Republic.
I just want to say real fast, this is like every other time we've talked about.
No, I got it right.
It is not the flu. It is African swine fever.
Darn it. I was saying Asia swine fever, and then I got Africa right and got flu wrong.
So literally, we do this, I think, like every time we screw up what it is. So I looked, it's African swine fever, ASF.
Annoyed. Very, very annoyed. But no, this is a very bad thing. Our agricultural department has done a phenomenal job keeping this out of the U.S. But the fact that it's this close now leads me to believe that it might not be preventable.
I think I know how we're going to fix it. We need the USDA or the CDC to step in and just mandate that all pigs will wear masks. If we do that, I think if we get Fauci on board, I think we'll be good. You can do it? Yeah.
Sorry, I'm just thinking of, like, you know how hogs go feral real quick. I'm just thinking of feral hogs running around with masks on. That's a great mental image for me. But no, this is the first time that the African swine fever has been in the Western Hemisphere, anywhere in the Western Hemisphere, in 40 years.
How does it end up in the Dominican Republic?
It had to be something.
You'd think it would have gone somewhere else first and then gone there, because
that must have made it there. Infected feed, an infected animal, something.
Yeah, but if it did it there, you got to think it's somewhere else then too, because
you do have to.
You wouldn't think that there's a lot only and very specifically going there.
No. Right before COVID came out, Patrick was playing this game called Plague Inc. Yeah. Right, and it was like things would pop up, but it had already been there and you didn't know about it for a while. So it was almost like too late to catch it at that point. You had to block off areas outside of that. So I'm saying exactly what you're saying. If they're catching it there, they're catching it otherwhere. Now, I think what I read was that there were 2 provinces where it was bad, but they found it in 11 provinces in the Dominican Republic. I don't know if you've ever been in the Dominican Republic before, but it's not that big. It's not that big an island. It shares an island with Haiti.
How do they even have 11 provinces? Like, I thought they were like a tiny island.
No, they're not that small. I mean, they're fairly small though. Is it Haiti? No, it's not Haiti. Haiti shares with Cuba.
Oh,
I should know this better.
Okay, so Dominican Republic, size of New Jersey.
It's not bigger than that?
Mm-mm.
Is the entire island the Dominican Republic?
There's a big line in the middle.
Okay.
I don't know
then
what's
the
on
left
the other
side is
side.
like Haiti, I think. I could be wrong. It's always interesting when I take guesses.
I should have paid attention better in history class 20 years ago.
I did. It's just been 20 years and I don't use it.
It's Haiti. Okay,
It's Haiti.
there we go.
Yes.
Wow. We need to sharpen up on our geography.
Not me. I knew it. I was right.
You were still debating. Now
no
you sound
idea.
all confident.
You had no idea. But yeah, nope. So we'll obviously our pig farmers or hog farmers are keeping a close eye on that. Best thing it seems to be to do is just kill them immediately. As soon as they start showing signs of it, kill them, get them separated, and hope it didn't spread to the rest of the herd. All right, now on Meatgistics, Tex had a really good post about I don't even know if it's a new type of beef, but a different type of beef called Piedmont. It's something like Piedmonte. And he did a great post on it, talking about the tenderness, talking about the fact that it's leaner, still really good taste, fairly expensive. I'm going to be ordering some and you and I will do a live review of it. We're also going to do an episode coming up where we got a bunch of new seasonings. I made the jalapeno brat. I made the Loaded Liberty and the Bavarian Oktoberfest. So I have those all. I'm going to find anything else new and we'll just do one whole episode that's just us reviewing all new seasonings.
Have you tried the sausage?
I have.
Okay, I did too.
Oh.
I normally, for some reason, I'd get left out on samples sometimes. But I mean, I know.
You're not always here.
I know. I'm all over the place,
Yeah.
especially lately. Like I don't know. I've had something like every morning this week. I've been gone. I had something right before doing the podcast here. I was gone, and then been out of town. I've been at work like 30% of the time the last month and a half.
Well, a couple things there. One, that's not that surprising. I mean, you've got one on the way. That obviously is going to be some appointments and stuff. And 2, this is the time of year we would expect like not to be here as much, right? Because it's not busy season. Like,
my schedule tightens up a lot once we hit like October.
It's the worst. Okay, but
no, it's good. I don't like doing all the different stuff. I just want to
one thing.
Yeah.
Okay. But that company, which is Certified Piedmont, and that is PIDMONTESE.com. They've donated $40,000 to a nonprofit called 2222 that was established to assist military spouses and veterans with transition, PTSD support, therapy, education as part of its guest chef series campaign. The charitable fundraising campaign will invite the nation's foremost chefs to take over Casa Bovina, certified Piedmont's Italian-inspired fine dining restaurant in Lincoln, Nebraska, and feature their own tasting menus. All proceeds go to a charity of the chef's choosing. Chef Andre Rush, former White House chef. I mean, that has got to be about as high a ceiling as you can get, right? There's not much more you can do than cook for the president. I mean, maybe own multiple Michelin star restaurants, but even that.
If I was ever president, I can't talk. If I was ever president, I would find the food scientist that created Totino's pizzas, and that would be the White House chef.
Oh, God. God help us. Have you ever seen the picture of the one, I don't know if he's a chef. I think he's a chef at the White House who's just enormous and jacked. No. He's like this huge bald dude. And it's like, there were all these memes for a while, like, I'll have bacon and all these bad things. It's like, you have eggs and toast. Yeah, I'll have eggs and toast. Whatever. It made me laugh. But no, that's an awesome thing. I know from reading Texas Post, this beef's a little bit more on the pricey side, but if it really is a little bit leaner and still as tender, meaning I can eat more of it, I'm willing to pay a little bit more than that. And if it's a company I like that's willing to do things like this, because this is a big thing. I mean, they're turning over, not only are they donating a bunch of money, but they're turning over their restaurant to allow people to come in and work for whatever other charity they want. That's a pretty awesome thing. So I'm way more apt to spend my money at a place like that.
Yeah, I think that's cool. I actually know a veteran guy that is going through some stuff right now, and he's shared a little bit of things with me, and he's gotten frustrated about like what like veterans get for help and what other people get. And it's almost frustrating to see like, yes, we do some stuff for veterans that we don't do for other people, but at the same time, there's a lot that we don't, and I don't think we do enough. It's good to see that other people are helping out with veterans, because I mean, they were willing to sacrifice everything for us. Yep. And then when they come back here and they have issues, if it's like this nonprofit helping out specifically with PTSD support, like stuff like that, like that should be on us to take care of, because the only reason they have that is because of what they went through to serve the rest of the general population.
How old are you?
32.
Okay. So I'm 10 years older than you. So you wouldn't have remembered, and this is way off topic, so we can just end here and we'll talk about this offline if you want. I mean, I'm fine talking about it online. But my father, when he came home from Vietnam, was spit on at the airport. When we sent our troops to Iraq for Desert Storm, the first one, there was a huge push where like the entire public was behind them. And everyone said, not that again. But somewhere we get lost. We forget the debt we owe those people, I guess. Like it just, those people had the terrible effects from the burning of the garbage. Like there was that, I can't remember. See, I can't remember the name of the disease that all those guys came down with. And it was from burning their garbage. They just had these huge burn pits. It was Iraq something disease. It was a respiratory, like caused serious problems. And everyone just kind of pushed it under the rug. We had all the problems with the VA hospital waiting lists. So while I think after Vietnam, we did a way better job of having good intentions of taking care of our military vets, unless you know a bunch of them, unless they're in your life, it's unfortunately, it's one of those things that's out of sight, out of mind. People don't pay enough attention to it.
Yeah.
That's why Gary Sinise is awesome. Sorry.
People that are non-citizens get more attention and more media coverage, and they get more benefits at times than some of our military members do.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I don't know. All right.
But,
you got anything else?
Nope. That's all I got.
Sounds good. All right, guys. Hope to see you next Saturday. Yeah, it'll be next Saturday by the time you guys see this. I'll be there all day walking around trying to do as little work as possible. Patrick will be here. Austin will be here doing IT stuff. Or are you with me?
Mostly with you.
Cool. So we will be around. We'll see you then.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks for checking out the Meatgistics Podcast. To shop everything but the meat, head on over to waltonsinc.com. And to get your meat processing questions answered by experts and enthusiasts alike, head on over to our online community at meatgistics.com. Walton's, everything but the meat.